After Monday night's vote to end the shutdown, let's be clear, Chuck Schumer betrayed us. He took revenge on people who voted for Zohran Mamdani and others who ran on affordability for the working class Americans. And here's what enrages me most. Schumer presents himself as the reasonable adult in the room, while he quietly kneecaps the progressive movement. At least Republicans are honest about who they serve. Schumer, he's the snake in the grass, smiling while he stabs you in the back. 8 Senate Democrats joined Republicans to reopen the government. No assurances on Obamacare subsidies, no guarantees that people won't lose their health care. Just a complete, total surrender to Trump. And Schumer, he voted against it, but only after making sure it would pass anyway. Let's talk about the context here, because it makes this betrayal even more stunning. Democrats just swept elections across the country, in New York City, New Jersey, Virginia, running on affordability and standing up to Trump. Zohran Mamdani won the NYC mayoral race on a platform of making the city livable for working people again. Meanwhile, Trump was hemorrhaging support. His approval numbers were tanking. People were standing in food lines because SNAP benefits lapsed during the shutdown. The Trump administration was literally fighting in court to avoid paying food stamps, even though they had the money, blaming the shutdown they caused. And then Trump throws a Great Gatsby-style party at Mar-a-Lago while Americans go hungry. The optics couldn't have been worse for Republicans. The public blamed Trump for the shutdown. Democrats had every advantage: political, moral, practical. This should have been the easiest fight in the world to win. So why did Senate Democrats cave? 8 senators, conveniently, most of them either retiring or not up for re-election, voted to hand Trump a win. They got nothing in return. No protections for health care. No assurances on subsidies. Nothing. Chuck Schumer voted against it, sure. But here's the thing about Schumer. He's a vote counter. He's been in leadership long enough to know exactly how his caucus will vote before they cast a ballot. If Schumer wanted to hold the line, those 8 votes wouldn't have happened. But they did happen. And Schumer made sure his own hands looked clean while the deed got done. This wasn't a failure of leadership. This was leadership working exactly as intended. Now let me tell you what I think really happened here. November 3rd, election night. Progressives won across the board, and Zohran Mamdani, a Democratic socialist who talks openly about affordable housing, taxing the rich, and yes, ending U.S. support for Israel's actions in Gaza, he won the biggest prize of all as New York City Mayor. This terrified Chuck Schumer. Schumer wouldn't even say whether he voted for Zohran. A reporter asked him directly, and he dodged. He deflected. He refused to answer his own party's candidate for mayor of the city he represents, and Schumer couldn't bring himself to say he supported him. Why? Because Zohran represents everything Schumer's donor class hates. Affordable housing means rent control, means challenging real estate developers. Economic justice means taxing Wall Street. And criticizing Israel? That's the third rail Schumer will never touch. So when progressives swept on November 3rd, running on the very issues that make Schumer's donors uncomfortable, Schumer saw a threat. Not a threat to Democrats. A threat to his version of the Democratic Party. The corporate-friendly, don't rock the boat, Wall Street Democrat who talks about working people but governs for the wealthy. And that's what Monday's vote was really about. It was a message. Schumer would rather hand Trump a victory than let progressives think they're in charge now. He'd rather let people lose health care than validate the movement that elected Zohran. He'd rather collaborate with the enemy than empower the left wing of his own party. Those 8 senators who voted to end the shutdown, they were doing Schumer's dirty work. They took the heat while Schumer kept his hands clean with a symbolic no vote. But make no mistake, Schumer wanted this outcome. He needed to remind everyone who really runs the Democratic Party. And it's not the voters who just elected progressives across the country. It's not the people standing in food lines. It's the donors. It's always the donors. This is why Chuck Schumer is more dangerous than Republicans. Trump tells you he's going to hurt you. Mike Johnson tells you he doesn't care about your health care. They're honest villains. But Schumer? Schumer smiles and nods and says he's on your side, right up until the moment when it matters. And then he finds 8 senators to do what he won't do publicly himself. After November 3rd, after progressives won, after the people spoke, Schumer made sure they knew who's really in charge. And it's not them. That's not leadership. That's betrayal. If you're tired of politicians who undermine you while pretending to protect you, hit like, share, and subscribe. Because the only way to defeat a political machine is to build a movement strong enough to no longer need its permission.